So the first thing you need to do is to lay out all 3 of your layers to ensure that everything is going to fit. There's nothing more frustrating than getting to the bottom of your quilt and realizing that your backing was not large enough or your batting. So what you are looking for to begin is that your backing fabric is 4 inches bigger than your quilt top on all 4 sides. Next, you want to make sure that your batting is a minimum of 2 inches bigger than your quilt top on all 4 sides. So you're going to lay it out just as if you were basting it, but there's no pins going to be involved. So you want your backing with the right side down. You want your batting to be next, making sure that it's right side up. And on top of it all, you're going to lay out your quilt top right side up. Now, I can hear you thinking, how do I determine if my batting is right side up? Most battings are manufactured through a process called needle punching, and we want our needle to go through in the same direction that theirs did. So what I'm looking for on the right side are dimples or needle holes where I can see that the needles have entered into the batting. On the wrong side of the batting, I'm going to feel little nubs, bumps. I call them pimples. So when I'm laying out my batting, I'm making sure that my dimples are up and that my pimples are down. I'm hiding those pimples just like when I was a teenager. So now I can see that all 3 of my layers are in fact going to all fit together. And the next thing I want to consider, actually should probably consider this prior to doing anything, is your backing fabric. If it needs to be pieced, you want to use a horizontal seam. A horizontal seam is going to roll onto the roller in a single turn versus a perpendicular seam, which is going to roll on and create a thickness at the center of your quilt, which will create a fluttery edge. So if we've got that horizontal seam, it'll just roll on a little bit smoother. I'm not saying you cannot use the other alternative, but we'll just get slightly better or easier results if we do a horizontal. If you like to use minky for your backings, you want to ensure that the stretch of that minky is going to run right to left. If you load it front to back, you're going to distort that minky throughout the process of quilting your quilt. There's nothing you can do to avoid it, so do your best to load the stretch right to left. My favorite batting to use is Hobbs 80/20. It's very durable. It does not stretch or pull apart easily, so it takes a bit of abuse when I'm loading it onto the frame. I can do it quickly and it will maintain its shape. If you use a cotton batting, you'll probably find that it's a bit more linty, so you'll want to clean out your bobbin case more frequently. You'll also want to stitch closer together with a cotton batting as it tends to lose its loft and migrate out to the stitching lines after wear and tear and laundering. So just some factors to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to show you how to fold your quilt up either for storage or for transporting to somewhere where you're going to rent a Longarm quilting machine or just to your Longarm quilter, whatever your end result is going to be. So I know that's the top edge of my quilt, so what I'm going to do is fold across the width. And when I fold across the width, I know that I'll unfold across the width when I go to load it onto the frame. It just makes things a little bit easier for myself, and I don't have to remember measurements because they immediately fall out of my head anyways. You see I've folded this to about the width of a hanger, and that will allow me to transport it on a hanger or even hang it on a hanger just to keep in my closet. I'll set that aside for now. Next, I'm going to do the exact same thing with my batting. Again, folding to about the width of a hanger. And again, I can just set that aside. If I were actually transporting this quilt, I would do the same thing with my backing fabric. Because I'm not, I'm just going to drop this into the frame for now.